In today's class, we are going to learn about scenario based modeling. What it is? It is a scenario based modeling. So this is the one of the element of a requirements analysis. This is the one of the element of analyzing the requirements whichever needed by a project. Clear? So that's why now we are going to learn this scenario based modeling in detail, right? So actually the scenario based modeling is purely developed using use cases. What are these? These are the by using use cases we are going to implement our model project model for a project or model for a domain here, right? And these are simply an aid to defining what exists outside the system and what should be performed by the system. Actually these use cases will be will tell us, so what is exactly the system, what is the functioning system, what is the outside system. If the customers are there, if the customers are there, so what kind of, I mean not customer, if the end users are there, so end users so what kind of actions is going to performed by end user with that particular domain or with that particular project. Those are the outside of the system, outside the system. If suppose I am the end user for something, I mean one project, so how should I interact with particular app? What are the options are there in that particular app? So by seeing that those options, I may click on one by one, one by one, one by one, like that. We have seen in yesterday's class one example. That example is Plank. That example is about ATM. ATM mission. There we have seen one customer, one actor symbol, one actor symbol. There one customer is there. So what is that customer roles in with that particular ATM project? We have one ATM project. That ATM project, if we should implement that ATM project, who is the end users? Some customers who are having the bank account into that particular account, bank account into that particular bank. So those customers may interact with this ATM. So that a customer is called an actor here. So which kind of operations is going is performed by a customer with this ATM? So what are the actions he is going to perform with that ATM? He may check for what balance, he may withdraw amount, he may deposit some amount into that particular ATM. So like that, he has he used to interact with that particular ATM mission, isn't it? So that is the here the external, which means the actor. So the actor is looking, what is the actor is looking for, and also for that actions choosing functions, which is by for the chosen functions, how the system would give the responses. If he choose the function of withdraw amount, so for that withdraw amount option, how the system will work for that particular action, what is the response for that particular function. So by defining these two, we should draw use case diagrams. Excuse me. Right. So what is the first one? First one, what is the actor role? Actor's role. What is the system role? I mean, function of a implemented overall domain or particular project, and what is the actor's role, right? So by implementing these two, by showing these two, we are going to draw some use cases here. Clear? And now with that, here we are having some 4 points how we are going to, okay, build a use cases. In first step, what should we write about? So in first one, what should we write about? And second one, how much should we write about it? How much, and here what? And third one is, how detailed should we make our description? Fourth one, how should we organize the description? Organizing of description. So if we'll take one simple module within a project, so we should apt these 4 points to that particular module. Okay, so within that, what should we write about, and how should we write about it, and how detailed should we make our description, and how would we organize the description? Okay, now in next slides we are going to see about these 4 points in detail. Okay, if you see the first one, what is the first one? What to write about it? If you are going to uh, draw or construct use cases, okay, so for which, now what you are going to take considerations to draw that particular use case. For that one, here again we are having 3 steps. First one is inception and elicitation. What it is? Inception and elicitation. It provides you with the information you will need to begin writing use cases. So what is the inception and elicitation phases? In inception phase, we are going to collect all the requirements from the client, what he needs related to that particular function. After taking the requirements from the client, next we should elaborate, which means we need gather more and more information related to a particular function. Illustration in the sense gathering of more information. In inception phase, we are going to take only 1 or 2 points related to that particular function. But coming to a illustration function, for that particular function, you should get 10 out of 10 points. Then only it's possible to construct some use cases or construct some functions related to your project, isn't it? So for that here, in first step, we should consider the inception and elicitation phases related to a project. Those two phases has the information about a project, whichever we have collected from the stakeholders. Clear? Coming to the second point, requirements gathering meetings and other requirements engineering mechanisms are used. Okay, till now, whatever the meetings you have conducted related to a requirement gatherings, so all should be implemented or used into your function or project. Okay, so we are going to conduct so a lot of meeting related to a requirement gathering. Okay, what are the things we need to, okay, things we need to finish off some particular function. So while going on that meeting, you should gather, okay, everything. You should gather Okay, everything related to that particular meeting. So what they have discussed. Okay, what are the client view, what are your project leader view, what is the project manager view, and what is the architect view, like that they are discussing about some function in detailed manner. At that time you should take everything into consideration, and you need to implement while developing that particular function. Clear? So that is about the second one. If we'll see the third one, to begin developing a set of use cases, list of the functions activities performed by a specific activities. First list the functions and activities performed by a specific actor. Now if you are going to represent an actor actor role, into that role, so what is the functions which is performed by an actor and activities? If suppose you will take the ATM mission, so what is the first task which is performed by an actor? Actor is a customer here, isn't it? What is his first action? If you will enter into the ATM mission, first of all, he should insert his card into a ATM mission. After that, the mission will read the card whichever inserted by a customer. If it is in live state, okay, it is in working state, then it will give a message to the customer, welcome, okay, welcome so and so. So and also it will display some list of functions. From that, the customer is going to choose one, withdraw money or deposit money or something. Based on that, it will again ask some questions of that customer. So like that, okay, like that, uh, the activity should be listed of a actor or customer. So in starting phase, what we are going to take at this, okay, how we are going to write about a project means, first of all you should gather the all the information whichever, okay, what collected for a inception phase. Okay, you should take the overall information, and also if any kind of meetings are conducted related to particular function, and take that information also. Coming to the third point, okay, before going to develop set of use cases, first of all, okay, how many actors are included into your project? I mean, how many members are interacted, outside members are interacted your what system, whichever we have developed. Okay, that may be a customer, that may be a technician, okay, uh, and some other people related to that particular ATM. Anybody can interact with that particular ATM, isn't it? So these all the members are the actors here. So you should list out the functions of individual actors. Okay, list out the functions or activities of a individual actors towards our project or app, isn't it? So like that, you need to, okay, gather the information for an actor here. Okay, that is the first step of a use case scenario. I mean, scenario based requirements analysis. If we'll see the second one, what is the second one here? It is how much to write about it. How much we should write about that particular project. As further conversations with the stakeholders progress, The requirements gathering team develop use cases for each of the functions noted. Okay, first of all, the team members gathered some information, okay, related to a particular function, isn't it? So by following those steps, okay, then should prepare they need to prepare one use case diagram. Okay, by showing that use case diagram to the clients, then they'll ask they should ask, okay, these are the functions whichever you have asked to this particular module or not. Okay, do you want any other functions need to added here, or otherwise any functions are you need to delete it, I mean you are interested to delete from this particular diagram. Like that, first of all, they'll draw, okay, they'll draw one use case diagram whichever they have collected the information from a stakeholder in earlier meetings or at the inception phase. Okay, so then after that, okay, after drawing the diagram only, okay, they'll contact the stakeholders they'll contact the stakeholders for progress. Okay, this is the work you have asked us or not. These are the functions related to the particular project we have implement, I mean we have but drawn here. These are enough, or do you want a more number of functions into this particular module? Like that, they should ask the stakeholders. Okay, by like that you can do, I mean you can implement such things. Then okay, he may tell, okay, this much is enough, sir. Okay, no need of adding more number of functions. These basic functions are enough for my project. Okay, or to me. Like that, he may give some suggestions towards that particular project. If he is not satisfied with those, okay, better please add one more task to that particular what function, I mean project. Like that, he may tell some more points related to that particular module, isn't it? In previous class, in previous class, we have discussed about one ATM example. Na? In that example only, we have shown only four functions, which is uh, which is performing by a customer, isn't it? So what is that? Which means balance inquiry, withdraw, deposit, and fund transfer. Only these are the four functions which I have shown you in that particular use case diagram. So if you will draw one diagram like that, and if you show that diagram to a stakeholder, then he may got some idea. Okay, okay, and he will tell the adding ones or deleting ones by looking on those particular functions. Clear? That is about the first point. Coming to second point, in general, use cases are written first in a informal narrative fashion. Okay, first of all, you should develop your use cases in informal way, not in a formal way. You should draw some rough diagrams and ask the stakeholders whether these are the what features whichever asked by you or not. Like that, you should take the permission of a stakeholder. Then you should move, I mean you should work the total things fairly. You should implement fair work on that particular things. So that's why whenever the modelings are developed in first state, those are a informal way of representations, right? If more formality is required, if you want to more formality into this particular what use cases, The use case is rewriting in a using a structured format related to a your proposed project, related to your proposed project. Okay, first of all, at this session you should, what is this session actually, how much to write about. So what are the functions we need to add related to a particular module? That is our question. Okay, do we add two functions or three functions, four functions, five functions, like that? How many we should add to that particular module? Now that is the question here. For that question, first what they are saying is, first of all, based on the requirements, whatever you have gathered in previous meetings or at the inception phase, put all those requirements into one representation, into one use case diagram. The diagram is also a informal way, and take that use case diagram to the customer. Okay, ask him about that particular functions of that particular module. Okay, so by doing like this, okay, you may get where to stop this module. I mean, where to stop the functions of this module, how many functions he need in a single module, right? So like that if you will do, then you may get one conclusion related to that particular module, right? And if you'll see the third one, next one, it's a little okay, this is some description, use case, third one, use case description. Okay, that is a high level use case description. Now we are going to discuss about third point. So at this point here we are having one example. If we want to develop a use case for issue of bike, that is your main module, one of the module related to a, okay, bike showroom, right? So what are the actors involved into this use case? Those, the first actor may be a receptionist. And what is the goal of issuing a bike from a particular workshop or something? So that is to hire out a bike, which means, suppose, okay, you want a bike, you want to rent, you want to take one bike for rent. Okay, so that is for 4 hours, 5 hours, or 1 day, for 2 days, 24 hours, like that. What is this project is? Okay, one customer want a bike in a hours basis, in hours basis. Okay, that is our concept here. So then if we want a bike, then what we have to do? We'll go to that particular shop, whoever providing that bikes for rent, isn't it? So after going there, okay, what you are going to do? By visiting one receptionist, we will go and ask him or her. So first of all, I came here for a bike. So how many bikes are available right now? Like that, you should ask the receptionist. Okay, she may tell or she may show to you. So these are the bikes are there right now, sir. So which one you want? Okay, you may take for rent. Then you should select one bike among the number of bikes, and also after that you should tell to her, okay, what is the number of hours, how many number of hours you need that particular bike, How many number of hours you need to that particular bike. After that, she will tell some amount. Okay, you will pay that amount to her, and you will take the bike at that showroom, isn't it? This is the process. Okay, in this process only, okay, uh, two members are there. One is receptionist, one is the customer. Two actors, actually these are the two actors. So these two actors would talk about a issuing of bike, issuing or taking of a bike, isn't it? So if like that, if you are taking one project, so what is the process? So how that process is represented in the manner of functions into your module. Okay, till now whatever we have discussed the process. Okay, receptionist showed the bikes to a customer, and based on his interest, okay, so she will note that number, and she will tell him the amount of that particular bike. So based on that amount, she'll take maybe advance or sometimes full payment also they'll take. Okay, later if possible, she will give some receipt to that particular person. Okay, then he will take the bike from there for his personal work. So like that, something work is going on. So how this work should be represented in a functions manner, that is the what a description related to a use cases, isn't it? High level description. What it is? It is an high level description. Clear? So with that here we are having some more what are the actor list out the actor actions and also system responses. If suppose if you have an actor, which means a receptionist roles. So in previous slide we have discussed, first of all you should list out the functions of a functions of a actor. So these are the functions of a actor, these are the systems responses. Clear? This is the representation for that. First, what is the actions? The customer choose a bike. Okay, first of all customer came to that particular shop, and he may choose particular bike. After that, the receptionist keys in the bike number. So after choosing a bike, she may note the number of that particular bike, and after that number, if she enter into that bike number, it will display the bike system. What the system will do, it will display the bike details. After that one, if first step customer specifies the length of hire, okay, how many days he wants, how many hours he wants, the customer will tell to that particular receptionist. Then based on that, receptionist keys in this, so she will enter again what it is. So 4 hours he need or 5 hours he need, like that she enter into that particular system. Then the system displays the total hire cost. Based on the hours, it will the system will display the total cost. Then here the customer agree, if the customer is agrees for the price, okay, he said okay, this is for the customer said, suppose 4 hours I need. For that 4 hours the cost of this bike hiring is suppose for 400 rupees, like that. After that the customer is agreed for that 400 rupees. Okay, then the receptionist keys in the customer details. So if customer is accepted to pay that 400 rupees for 4 hours, then what is the receptionist will do? She will perform, okay, entering the customer details, isn't it? Okay, in ninth step. After entering the customer details, it After completion of the customer details, the system should show the customer details on screen. Then customer pays the total cost. Okay, receptionist records the amount to be paid, amount paid. If he paid 400 rupees and she records the amount paid information into the system, then okay, maybe the system will give some printout related to that particular bill payment, isn't it? So like that, you should list out the actions of a customer, actions of a system, right? So this is the next second level. Previous what we have seen, that is completely about what higher level. This is next level. Okay, in next level also, if suppose, okay, some alternative courses, if he is a existing customer or old customer, if he is a old customer, so then we should skip two steps. Then we should skip two steps, that is eighth step and ninth step. Why? Because old customer means, existing customer means already his details should be there into our system, isn't it? So no need of going for eighth and ninth steps. Step 8 and 9, the customer details are already in the system, so the receptionist needs only the identifier and the system will display the customer details. Okay, so and if if the customer is not happy with the price of the particular what bike, so what he should do? Again he need to go for a first step, choosing of another bike. If the customer is not agreed with the price of a bike, then he may choose for another bike, that is first chance, first choice. And second choice is, okay, he may go out from the shop, which means then in such a case, ninth, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12 steps are not executed, isn't it? So these are the cases. Alternative works with these actions. Clear? Like this, should think out about your what is the task, what is the function which we are going to implement. Sorry, what is the module which we are going to implement, and what are the module functions, and also the actor functions. Here there are the two sets, actor functions and system functions. So like that, you should list out the overall activities of a actor and overall activities of a system. If suppose, if what the customer is existing customer, so no need of go for eighth and ninth steps. If the customer is not satisfied with a cost of that bike, okay, he may go and choose another, and again he will go back to first step, to choosing another bike. Or otherwise, okay, he may go out from the shop, he don't want to hire the bike, then he leave from the particular place, isn't it? So there are another two choices are also there with this particular project. Clear? Like this, you should describe about your module or project. Then if you'll see the next slide. So developing a use cases. So already same the things whatever we have discussed now. What are the main tasks or functions that are performed by an actor? So if you want to develop use case, what you should do? Okay, write the main tasks or functions of a actor. Right. What the system information will the actor acquire, produce, or change? Okay, so what is the system information within the hands of a actor? Will the actor have to inform the system about changing in the external environment if we want to perform any kind of changes? Okay, will he have the permission or need of informing or not? And what information does the actor desire from the system? Okay, so if the system, so what are the actions which is performed by an actor apart from the system? Okay, whether he is desired for that particular roles or not. Okay, we can't give all the permissions to a customer or actor, isn't it? Some restrictions we have to interact with that particular system, isn't it? So different actors is there. So based on the different actors, I mean, we will give the different roles for each and every actor in that particular use case have different roles. Based on that only, we can give the permissions. Okay, we can't give the permissions to a single person. So based on his what role, his place and action, which means his role into that particular project, then will permit him that much only, not beyond that, isn't it? So, does the actor wish to be informed about unexpected changes? Okay, if any kind of unexpected changes may occur in between working with the system, so what should he do? I mean, like feedback or some errors will get into that particular thing. How he would help? Okay, in such a cases like that, you should take care while developing a use case, right? So if we'll go for second example of a use case, okay, of safe home. Second example of use case diagram for a safe home. So how we will tell? I mean, if you should develop a safe home, then you need to, okay, establish cameras. What you want to do there? If your project is related to a safe home, so, in this safe home, who is the actor? The actor is home owner. Home owner is the actor. So, which kind of functions he expected from the cameras, whichever we have fitted into that particular house? So, what are the functions he is expecting? Access the camera surveillance via internet. So, what he are going to do? He is going to access the camera surveillance. So, how much it is covered and it is properly working or not. So, like that, he may check that one and configure safe home system parameters. So, he is expecting some configurations. So, it is how much it is covered. Excuse me. How much area it is covered? Do I need any kind of another cameras into my home or not? So like that. So how many those all cameras are worked properly or not? So like that, you may check configurations of that particular cameras. And next, if anything is wrong, so he set for alarm. Okay, if any new member is identified within that particular cameras, so he set some alarm sounds, okay, to wake up him. So like that, okay, you should get ready one project here. Clear? Right. Next, for the same, if you see the activity diagram for the same file, what is this? Which one? For safe home, if we'll see the another kind of UML diagram, this is the one kind of UML diagram. Previous one is a use case diagram. This is the activity diagram. For which concept? These two are for home safety. Okay, home safety. So if you will see this is a little bit some graph flow manner. It's a like a flow of interaction. See, it is a starting stage and enter password and user ID if you want to watch the cameras. I mean each and every if you want to access the cameras information. So then first of all you should enter the password and the user ID and password. After that, okay, after that select the function of major function of the particular cameras. Okay, if suppose the person is, I mean, if he entered correct credentials, if the house owner entered correct credentials, then select major functions. If he is not entered correct credentials, then again we are asking him to enter the exact details. Sometimes we may type wrong credentials while opening the email or something. At the time, sometimes it may ask re-enter your password or user ID is wrong. Okay, please type correct credentials like that, isn't it? Here also we should give the chance to a particular house owner to enter correct credentials, isn't it? So that is the process here. And if he enter the correct credentials, okay, so the camera's surveillance will be visible to him. Okay, based on this, if the specific, if he will get all the cameras in a thumbnails manner, he'll get all the cameras in a thumbnails manner. Okay, or otherwise he may get full camera icon for a single area. Okay, full camera icon for a single area. So by watching either all the thumbnails at the same time or by watching a single camera surveillance, okay, then he will he will see some outputs. Then, okay, after his completion of his work, so view camera options is labeled. If any, I mean, view camera output. If any kind of things he needed extra, he may see that particular surveillance, which means a particular area of that particular house, isn't it? If it is if it is not satisfied by him, then he may ask for another view. Okay, for single area, there are many cameras will be focused on a single area. It is not visible properly in one angle, then he may go for some another angle to see the particular area of that particular house, isn't it? Like that, he may change the okay views of a particular cameras. So like that, he may go back if he wants to that. He wants to change the okay view, another view, then he'll go back. Or otherwise, he may come out from this I mean cameras area. Like this, the functions should be represented related to a water safe house, right? And okay, this is about today's class. We have seen in scenario based modeling, we have seen uh, 2 points, which means how to gather the information, how to represent a informal use cases. After representing of informal use cases, then we have taken description of use cases. After the in description of use cases, we have seen one hiring a bike kind of project. After that, if you are going to develop a use cases, a final development, here we have taken another example, which is a safety home. So we have drawn one use case diagram, then one activity diagram. So by this, we have finished off scenarios based modeling. In next class, we are going to learn about, okay, class based modeling. Thank you.